Yeah, so I've heard it said that like Earth is like a school, and I've heard like this is one of the toughest schools, and like for us to be here during the time of what I would call the Great Awakening, I've heard there like are millions of souls, and like the ones that are here are like the best of the best, and that there's like tons of souls that just want to come here and do this. Of course, it doesn't seem like that when we're here, but I've heard that, I've heard like, yeah, the angels and whatever, they like look at us and they're like, wow, these guys are really doing it. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that. I mean, my intuition tells me that that's true. And sometimes I do feel that, like, if life feels like too much, like you're barely holding it together, you are not alone. I felt the same way too until I found Kriya Yoga. It became my daily reset, helping me to come back to my center, even during my hardest days. If you need a lifeline, start here. Join my free Kriya Yoga school at freekriyayogamasterclass.com or book a free call at kriyayogamasterclass.com. Vedguru Dev has a tough job. He's on the front line. He's he's holding up the white flag. So he's almost like a spiritual hero. He's doing the real work, right? And my gurus told me anybody can meditate in a cave, anybody can meditate in the forest. But when you really master meditation and calmness and stillness, you could you could meditate in the center of New Delhi or in the middle of Times Square because you have achieved such mastery in the chaos and the distraction that nothing could really affect you. So I like when they say in yoga, even if it's the end of the world, don't let nothing shake your samadhi. So no matter what's happening in the external Maya delusional world, you just always keep that calm, centered, inner stillness state. But it takes some practice because the distraction, the psyops, the subconscious messaging, the hypnotism. Wow, it's powerful, right? You know, like it's if you don't have some tools in your toolbox, like what we give you in our Kriya Yoga school, it becomes very difficult. You become almost a slave to your delusion. Let's say it like that. You start to love the chain that enslaves you. So yeah, I would definitely say it takes some practice, but like I would say what you say is true that sitting in a higher dimensional plane where there's no murder, war, distractions, lower emotions, lower frequencies, and just relaxing in your higher plane isn't really doing the hard work, the heavy lifting. So I would say, in my perception, to the people who aren't doing the heavy lifting, seeing someone who's on the front line holding up the white flag, helping people, trying to bring light to the darkness, trying to be a lighthouse to boats that have lost their way out there on the sea is a beautiful thing and is a well respected thing. And in my perception, I can't say this for sure. In my opinion, higher frequency beings respect it because you're doing the hard work, you're doing the heavy lifting. You're not talking about it, you're being about it. That's why I like when I say in Kriya Yoga, we are action yogis. We don't talk about Kriya Yoga. We do Kriya Yoga. So we're actually doing, we're actually leading by example. We're actually living it. So we're actually doing it. So I would definitely say that what you said rings true to me also.
Great. Yeah, I had a nice encounter today with a customer. So this guy was a naval aviator, Vietnam War era. So he came in and he saw my hats and he was like, "Oh, Navy." And he obviously he was old, white hair and big, and kind of you could just tell he was pretty old. But so yeah, we had a nice discussion and told some, we like to call them sea stories, about stuff we had done. And I did ask him the usual questions. Did you see any UFOs or whatever? Especially since he was an aviator. And it sounded like he was about to tell me something, because that's when he started to go into, yeah, it was during the Vietnam War, and I was there, and but then he didn't really end up saying anything. But so I don't know if he thought better of it, but he's gonna come back, so I might reinterrogate him a little harder next time. But yeah, it was kind of fun. So I'd also just finished this book called Cosmic Cop Top Secret or something like this. And it was from this guy that, had like a super high clearance, and he was telling all about the world and the way it is, what they're hiding from us, and all the secret programs. And one of the last stories was very interesting. And he was telling about this rancher in the desert Southwest that had found some kind of cave or something. There were some artifacts or something in there. And, he turned it over to the government. He said, "Hey, I found this out on my ranch." And of course, the government came. And then during that time, there was like a landslide and something, and the cave opened up more to where they found like a shaft leading down. There was like a bunch of rooms down there. And inside there, he said they found like a disc, like kind of like a CD disc, but some type of disc that had information on it. And they were able to get into that information because, I'm pretty sure that like we've got like some pretty high tech stuff at this point, because they've had it back in the 40s, and like by this age, I just really don't know what we might have. I wouldn't be surprised about time travel, portals, any of that stuff. But they were able to read it, and so it was from this race that they called themselves the Wing Makers, and they were like one of the cedar races that I've heard about, and they were like geneticists and stuff, and they were here to like help us evolve. And they were talking about this technology, and they called it blank slate technology. And when I heard that, I was like, blank slate, wow, that's like going back to zero. And I noticed that you added in 000 during the closing ceremony. And I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, that makes sense. Blank slate. And these beings are not bound by time. They live outside of time. So they're able to go anywhere in time. Whereas, they said even the angels don't, they're kind of bound by time in some kind of way. But and then they said there's also the freedom key. Once you achieve that, nothing can touch you. You're like, you can just go wherever you want in time. You don't like that experience? Go over there then. But but yeah, I just found it very fascinating, and I really enjoyed that story, and it made me think about the 000.
Yeah. 000. Yeah, I did add that in. I was thinking that's also good with love, 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 peace, 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 happy, happy, happy. So yeah, it's kind of funny. That's exactly what I said in your question earlier. Like, don't transition with any baggage. Just be as empty as possible, and enjoy it for as much as you can. So maybe these, what were they called? Wingmen? What was the name of the
The
people?
wing makers, wing makers.
Wing makers. So maybe
Yeah.
the wind makers are onto something, or maybe they're watching now. Like Vedguru Dev, he's on the right path. 000. You know, just stay as empty as possible, and maybe you achieved the freedom key, or maybe you already have the freedom key, you don't realize it. So
Yeah.
So we got a comment from Teeny Tapida, and I'm trying to figure out what it means. Elser Isnos, that sounds Spanish. And I tried to translate it. I can't find anything. My G, I guess that's guru or gangster. Very straight edge of you, my G. I don't know what this means. Please translate. Please clarify this comment.
okay, well, Teeny, if you want to elaborate, my G, okay, sounds like from the streets.
Yeah,
right?
that's what we'll call it. My G. I was thinking maybe she meant guru.
How you doing, Fed Guru Dev? My G,
G.
you know? What's up, G? You know, like yeah, like you said, sounds like something some of my hip hop friends would say,
Yeah.
right? How you doing today, my G, right?
Yeah.
Or I don't know if that means my guru or
Yeah.
it just means my gangster. Well,
Yeah.
elaborate what my G means. But
That's very
either way,
G of you.
Yeah, so anybody has any questions or any problems they want solved or overcome, put it in the YouTube chat. No judgment. Vedguru Dev is an excellent therapist, so I will try to answer your questions as best as I can. You know,
On the job
no
training.
judgment. On the job training. Give me the opportunity to help solve your problems or overcome whatever you're going through.
Well, I've been seeing a lot of videos of your guru on Instagram, and they're very,
Nice.
very great videos of him.
Yeah.
Whoever's
I seen them too, actually, about
Yeah.
the Kumbh Mela and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, and at the end he says, "I love you," and I believe him that he loves me. Like, I love you.
Oh, he always says that, right? I love you. I love you. Love, you know, that's where love comes from, right? Love you, Baba Ji. Love you, Baba Ji. Love you, Sai Baba. Love you, you know. You know, like I said before, there's no limit on love, right? It's not 5 beans in your hand. I only have these 5 love beans. I got to keep them, you know. Nope. Give love as much as possible. Say it as much as you can. Give it as much as you can. Love you, love you, love you, love, 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 love the whole world as much as possible.
Here's an interesting thought. Thinking of love, like if 2 twin flames have a child, is their child one of a twin flame too? Part of their, I don't know if in I don't know, is that a child born from twin flames, do they have an advantage in this world, I wonder, being born of like true love?
Yeah, I would say probably. They'd say in yoga, being born into a yogic tradition is a true blessing, or being born to a yogi is a true blessing. So they would say that on the higher astral plane, people are waiting in line to be born into a yogic spiritual tradition. So I would say if they have techniques like brahmacharya. So if you and your twin flame have a child together, they have techniques to kind of raise the vibration and make that child be born of inner divinity, more being born self-realized more, or like hurried up on the path, you know. I've never really seen it in person, but I'm probably physically sure that certain yogic traditions or parampara, when they do have a child, they make a conscious effort to clear the path for that child as much as they can by raising their vibration and making their child be born as already enlightened on the path. That's why sometimes you see like small children that are all already enlightened masters.
Yeah.
So maybe that technique was administered, but the hardest thing on the yogic path is finding a twin flame to
Yeah. First you gotta
make that
find them.
super flame. You know, there ain't too many.
Yeah.
You know, and the problem with when you get on the path of Kriya yoga or a yogic tradition or any spiritual tradition, being a householder and these lower frequency vibrations don't really appeal to you anymore. Like, you know, so you're kind of detached from that. So you kind of got to go backwards to go to that, to have that happen, which is interesting. That's why you don't see many yogis as householders. I mean, it's possible. Lahiri Messiah, myself, they're out there, but most higher enlightened beings have already detached from these lower desires, let's say, you know. So, but yeah, if you had a twin flame and you and your partner conceived a child, then it would be a super flame, you know, like
Yeah.
it wouldn't be just one fire, it'd be two fires together, which like a big fire. So yeah, that would be a true blessing. I'm sure if what they say is true, there are a lot of people on the astral plane waiting for that opportunity, and those are very rare, let's say, you know, like finding one person who's a self-realized being is one thing, and them meeting another self-realized being of the other sex and combining together for the divine union of yoga is a rarity, but I hope people out there find that. But
Yeah.
if you find it, let me know. I'm looking
Yeah.
also.
Well, I was thinking, like, my parents were a terrible match, and it would just be great for a child to be born in a house of love, and instead of fighting all the time. I was just thinking that would, but like you said, it's hard to find. First, you have to find that twin flame, but I don't know, just to grow up in a house full of love, that would, you know, with your parents that truly love each other. They were just, I just think that that child would have such an advantage. But
Yeah, that's why they say there's a long waiting list of
yeah,
hypothetically people in the astral plane waiting for that perfect storm, that perfect situation to be born into. So that's why they say it's a true blessing to be born into a yogic family and already kind of jumpstart your spiritual evolution, which I was not lucky enough to have. I had to find out the hard way.
yeah.
But here now, so grateful for that, you know.
Well, maybe, you know, you'll appreciate it more when you do find that person. So maybe that's an advantage too. So you don't take it for granted. I don't know. I guess there's different ways of looking at it. Like,
I mean, it's so hard to find. Like, if you did find that person, it'd almost be like a gift from God, you know. Like, God has shined His grace on me today. I've been looking my whole life, and there are no good suitors out there. Let's say it like that. Because, like, here's the problem too. If you're up here on a spiritual level, you can't resonate with somebody who's down here on the spiritual level. So that's what it's like. Cats don't like dogs. Apples can't relate to oranges, you know? So when you do find that person, it's almost like winning the lottery. It's like, yes, I've been waiting my whole life, you know? Do you know Babaji? Yes, I love Babaji. Thank you, God.
what?
True blessing, right? Right? Right?
Then
Babaji is the greatest. Jai Babaji. Hello, come in. Right? I've been waiting for you my whole life. You might be thriving on the outside, but inside, do you feel scattered, restless, or empty? I did. Kriya Yoga gave me the structure and the sacred stillness that changed everything for me. If you're ready to reconnect with yourself, book a free call at kriyayogamasterclass.com or start your journey for free at freekriyayoga.com. If this message landed for you, hit like, leave a comment, and subscribe so you never miss my daily videos. And click the daily video right here.